This is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. I'm your host, Glenn Glass, but affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime. And my guest today, you might have seen her peek in for just a minute, but I wanted to make sure we got our intro in, is Miss Ashley LeBoeuf. I got to make sure I say that name right. She'll get me right when she comes on in. I have to say, Ashley is probably one of the youngest in charge as of today. She's one of the ones that's, a little on the younger side, but she's blazing trails like she's been doing this thing forever. She's a perfect example of it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do something right. And she's definitely going to be coming on and sharing with us some of the amazing things that she has going on and educating us on how to get to where she is and how to do it in such a short amount of time. So hang tight. We'll be right back with you and we'll be getting the show underway. All right, we're back. And we have Miss Ashley LeBoeuf. Did I say your name right?
You did. I appreciate it.
Welcome to the show. I was getting into some of the things that I know you got going on, and I know you have here that you started just 6 years ago.
Yes, it feels like forever.
Wow, and you started as a wholesaler,
right?
And you transitioned into being an investor. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, who you are, and then we'll get more into the specifics of how you made your transition and doing what you're doing in such a short amount of time.
Sure. So I'm Ashley. I own the fancy firm where I design, sell, flip, and stage houses. So I do all things real estate all day, every day. My background actually is in childcare. So I had a full-time nanny job when I started out wholesaling. I was in my early 20s. And so that was kind of really figuring out real estate. I really got into wholesaling just kind of to learn the game. And I feel like that's always a good place to start for anyone that's in real estate, because that's how you figure out if you're really making a good deal or selling a good deal. I am a college dropout, mostly self-taught. And I like to learn in the field, learn the hard way. So, I just jumped in both feet, and I've been going ever since.
Okay, first of all, there go my man Rod Dimmock. He's on again. He said, how much you charge to babysit?
Those days are far behind me. I don't want to see nobody else's kids till I have my own.
Right. Good morning, Mr. McCoy. Thank you for joining us. And we got somebody else to talk about Q-Sips. Oh, that's a whole other conversation. But listen, you said one of the things that I talk about often, how wholesaling is a good starting point. What about wholesaling helped you get to where you are? Like, what was the process of going from wholesaling to becoming, what you're doing now? And we'll get, a lot more into that. What did you learn in wholesaling to help you with real estate investing?
So I think one of the things I first learned is any sort of real estate investing you're doing, the numbers are the most important. And you make your money on the front end, meaning you have to know what type of deal you're getting into. Your numbers have to be pretty tight or pretty close. I'm getting a delivery right now. And you have to really know whether you're wholesaling it or actually flipping it. You have to know the end goal. You have to know the numbers. I might have to sign for that.
We know you're working.
Yeah, so wholesaling, I knew obviously what areas people were investing in, who was looking for properties, who in Atlanta is really doing it. That gave me an opportunity to network and learn from my circle. And then, like I said, it just really, I feel like any job, if you start from the bottom and build your way up, then you have a full, clear understanding of how to get to the top by understanding the ground, the ground rules and the basics.
Okay. And wholesaling, and I say this often, wholesaling is a great foundation. As you mentioned, you should be learning every aspect of investing in real estate. As Ron, so eloquently said, and you mentioned that you make your money on the purchase when you buy. And it's important, as you mentioned, to know the numbers. I'll get all off in the weeds and talking about why most wholesalers don't learn these things from the beginning, but that's a whole nother show.
Whole nother podcast.
Right. So now tell us, now when you say you learn the numbers, what numbers specifically are you talking about? Like what numbers are important for wholesalers or even an investor to know?
So I never buy from wholesalers anymore because they're sending me full gut renovations that still cost $50,000. Even with pandemic inflation, these renovations to them still cost $50,000. And I learned early, like those are the people you get one of those emails and no one will ever read your email again.
Yes.
So for me, I build everything I do off integrity and off of really knowing what I talk about. I feel like people have a confidence in you when you exude that you really know what you're talking about. So I wanted to make sure if I was going to do it, I did it right. So I was learning what appropriate purchase prices were. So I was not overbuying or overselling properties. I was learning exactly what, kind of a rough idea of what building costs cost, so that if I was selling a property, then I could give an accurate estimate to the investor. Not only are they impressed by my knowledge, but then they're coming to me and I'm working smarter, not harder. So they're taking all my deals. I don't have to shop it or do anything crazy like that. And then the same thing, what can you sell it for? Calculating holding costs, which people forget, real estate commissions, and then making sure it's a really good deal for all parties, whether I was keeping it or wholesaling it.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff.
Now, SAT words.
Yeah. I know he go. Look at him. I've been she's single. Boy, get off of here.
Right. I am. So if you got any brothers,
right?
Like 6-figure men only though, or more.
Hey, listen, you in some positions when you're doing what you're doing, you probably can command that, So right. we won't hate on it. We won't hate on it. She kind of cute. All right, so we not gonna let him. So listen, Ron, while you on here, man, why don't you tell all the people to like, share, and subscribe?
Right.
Make sure they like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. So in getting started, like what was the thing that made you want to go from being a child care provider to getting into real estate? What was the attraction to real estate?
Well, so first I knew I wanted to get out of childcare because I knew that I wanted my own kids one day, and I couldn't see myself sending my kids off to someone in order to go spend the day with other people's kids. And I was doing a lot of childcare in like Buckhead. I was doing nannying and people who obviously had what I knew that I wanted. So families, good careers, their kids went to good schools, etc. So I was trying to figure out how I could create that for myself. And so I always wanted to do interior design. I went to school for fashion for a year, and then I transferred to an online school for interior design for a semester. And then I was like, I feel like art, you can't really teach it. And I wasn't into like the whole debt thing when I could learn it in real life. So then I later realized that flipping houses was a thing in real life, not something you just see on HGTV.
Right.
So I started figuring out how to get there. Obviously, I was 23, no money, no credit. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to get what I want with the least risk. And I have never been one that is opposed to working for what I want. So everything I have, I've earned. I've never been giving anything. I'm a Jamaican from Brooklyn, so I'm not afraid to figure it out, get it out the mud, and get what I want. And I just want a certain life in the end. So it was just kind of a game plan that I put into action, and I just figured out my way in, and wholesaling was it.
Great stuff. Mm-hmm. What was one of the biggest challenges you had making the transition into getting into real estate? Like you used to, just being a child care provider. Now here's this new thing that you're going to do. Ryan, you're not supposed to say that, man. I don't know if you see that comment.
Right. You know these comments are public, right?
Right. Everybody can see this.
Right.
Now, I'm not Jamaican, but I've been told by several Jamaicans that you should not
Yeah,
use
you
that
out here cussing in these people's comments.
So what was the biggest challenge, that you had into making the transition?
I think it was a big challenge in general because, like I said, I was in my early 20s, so I'm figuring out like life in general. I'm figuring out a totally new career path. I'm transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship and like running a business that's able to pay my bills and support my lifestyle. And so it was just like a lot on my plate, a lot to figure out. There's obviously a lot of people in Atlanta who do this or claim to do it and want to sell you on certain things and don't really have the results to back it up. So trusting the right people was its own challenge, but I was very blessed to come into a great circle. I started training with Ramon Tooks and Flipology. That's how I met you and so many other people in Atlanta. And I just focused on kind of building my network first. So once I had that, like that was a good foundation to get rid of a lot of the challenges I had because I knew people that could help me with any challenge that came about.
Great stuff. And, and that's one of the things that oftentimes the biggest element that people miss is the foundation of doing what you're going to be doing is building that network, right? Building a network of people that like you said, that are actually doing it, they're,
and doing it well.
We're in Atlanta and, everything that glitters ain't gold or not diamonds or whatever.
Right.
But no, I mean, it's good that you understand that process is what got you to moving in the right direction. So I would imagine you tell most of the young folks that are getting involved in something like this, or young or old, is building a great foundation.
Definitely. The same way you build a house, the foundation has to be solid, and if so, you can literally build anything from there. You're always going to have people that have your back, people that are going to refer more work to you. Like I literally don't market anything. Like I told you earlier, I rarely post on social media because when I do, I get flooded with inquiries and people who want to work with you. But the most of my work comes from referrals. So I think when you do good work and you do things authentically and you have the right people around you, then really the sky's not even the limit. Like you could go so far past that.
Absolutely. Wow. Listen, I need to come to your class. So now wholesaling and the next step, I know you're now licensed as a realtor. So what was that the absolute next step, or did you get into the interior design part next?
So I went from wholesaling to designing for investors. And what I learned early is rather than being a greedy wholesaler trying to make $20,000, $30,000 on a deal, I traded a little bit of my money for knowledge from people who were seasoned. So it was like, hey, I'll wholesale you this, maybe take a little up front because I still got bills to pay.
Right.
And either save some on the back or let me shadow you, let me pop in and like see what every day is like. Let me help you select materials. And then I'm learning, how to order things, like what sells, like I'm studying the trends. And then it was just like a collaborative effort. Like, this is what I want. And in exchange, I'm going to give you something that's beneficial to you.
Wow. Listen, I need to pause and call like 20 young people to get on here and watch this. But great transition though. I mean, like that is the absolute steps somebody should be taking, and definitely paying attention to what you're saying about the networking being the next thing. And then of course, not being a greedy wholesaler trying to get all the money that you can out of one deal. And using and leveraging some of that income that you get on those deals to invest in education or invest in opportunities going forward. Great stuff.
Right.
I mean, we can stop the interview right there. That's
once I found that out, the license only came after. I never wanted to be licensed. I never wanted to drive people around to show houses. I did that for a hot second and realized that I was not into buyers. So it was just, again, like a strategy. I wanted the fancy firm to be a one-stop shop for clientele. So I only got my license because when I was wholesaling and flipping, people kept mistaking me for a realtor, and it just made sense. So now my business model is set up that if I wanted to, I could help you source the houses. A lot of people bring houses to me. So again, I'm not having to go search for it. I can flip, project manage, partner, whatever to get the house done. I can stage it, and then I can sell it for top dollar. And then we come back and we do it all over again.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So I want to get into that because you broke down quite a bit of stuff right there. I hope the folks caught that. But tell me, the fancy firm. Now, I know you, and I know you fancy. But why the fancy firm?
So you wouldn't be able to tell now by the way, like I'm usually in a hoodie and like leggings, t-shirt day to day now, just because that's my life. But there was a time before where I wouldn't leave the house without a full face of makeup. Hair's always done. I'm the friend or family member that you're calling for outfit advice and like help me go shopping, and like I could do my makeup. I know how to do my own hair. I was like that person for everyone. I was always glammed, and my mom always called me fancy my whole life. And that's just, I'm out here now making Atlanta fancy again, one house at a time. So I'm taking the ugliest houses and doing the most, still keeping them affordable, and, kind of just, again, everything authentic. So even if I'm dressed down, you're still getting all the fancy energy all the time.
Absolutely. It shows. It shows definitely.
Thank you.
Great stuff. So we got Ryan putting all your information out there, talking about
my whole resume. Would you like my social and my full name also?
Right. Look. So we're not gonna get that far into it. How old are you? That's the question that I know many of people will have.
I am 29.
29 years old. If my son is watching, we'll leave it at that. But anyway, so 29 years old, you got started when you were 23. And now at 26, you've accomplished being a wholesaler, doing interior design, becoming a licensed realtor. I gotta stop watching Rod's comments.
No, me too. I'm trying not to even look over there.
I gotta stop watching Rod's comments. He's killing me. Come on, man. You make it hard on the interviewer, man. I got some good questions to ask. So accomplishing all of that in a matter of 6 years, is this something that you foresee, or I guess foresee, one of those words, at 23 years old, that you would be doing what you're doing now at not even 30 yet?
Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that I've always been the type, if I want something, I'm going to go get it. Like I've always been that. I've always had super supportive friends and family. I've never, ever had anyone question me or try to not believe in me. So I've always had a full support system, and anyone who knows me knows I like to do everything larger than life. So once I set out for it, I had no idea how it was going to happen, but I'm just out here doing what I love and trusting God and, making it happen.
Absolutely. Any family support? Anybody support you in doing what
you
do?
My family are my biggest fans. My sister saw the flyer yesterday. She's a teacher in Houston, and she's like, "Oh, perfect. That's on my lunch break. I'm tuning in." Like they're quick to share all my work and watch my videos. I post all of my videos and flips now on YouTube. So they're super supportive with that. Most of my family does not live in Georgia. So they can, support from afar. But they've always believed in me and been great support. So I definitely could not ask for anyone better.
That is great. That is great to hear. It's important, to have family support and have friends support you in doing what you do. I mean, even from a standpoint of just encouraging, you can do it, or sharing a video, sharing something like this is, and this is a teaching moment for those folks who say support small businesses.
Yes, it does go a long way. My best friend is all the way in Ohio, and it could be like a day where I'm super overwhelmed and like I'm putting out fires all day, and she'll start the day texting me like, "I love watching you chase your dreams. It inspires me to do the same thing." And like that, like little text message takes 30 seconds to send, but it definitely changes the whole mindset sometimes, because we know entrepreneurship is hard, real estate's hard. You know, doing it by yourself is hard. And sometimes like that little support can go a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, a lot of folks don't realize that, you know, when they talk, we talk about supporting businesses or supporting each other and doing what we do, it's not always about spending money. You know, it's not always about how much you're going to spend to get what, you know, what I can offer you. Like you said, that short text message, a word of encouragement on a regular basis is something that goes a long way.
Yeah.
I know it's quite
free.
helpful. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said a lot of support is free.
Absolutely. And it doesn't cost it doesn't cost a thing. You know, we don't get charged individually for text messages anymore.
Right. You're showing your age now.
Right. Oh yeah, well, you know, that was back in my day. Yeah, I'm not that much older than you, only a couple 10, 15, 20 years older. But anyway. So what are you currently doing? What's happening for the fancy firm now?
I am currently up to my eyeballs in real estate. So I am doing a lot of flipping right now. I am working on a cul-de-sac in Dixie Hills. So there are a total of 6 houses in the cul-de-sac, and we are just under contract for quite a bit over asking price. So we're hoping that appraises, but we're under contract on the second house. We're a few weeks out from the third house being finished, and simultaneously permitting the other 3. I have a 7th house around the corner that I just listed for sale. I am working on a flip in Stone Mountain that'll be ready soon. I just finished my office. I just got the space next door to my office, which I am about to start build out on a content studio, so I can you know, create a little passive income, and staging houses in between, selling listings. So all things all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, I was telling you earlier when you started telling me that, I was like, yo, I just got tired listening to what you're doing. Like, I want to go take a nap now.
Oh my God. I live in a constant state of like zombie mode right now, but it's paying off, so I can't complain.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this question. Now, as a young person, now, you know, I mean, age is relative, I guess, but as a young person, why would you take on so much? What is it that you're really doing now that you're planning for in the future? What is help? What is what you're doing now? How's it going to help you in the future? Why are you working so hard is the question.
I'm literally creating the life that I want. Like, I have never been one to settle. I've lost friends super young that, you know, lived the life that they were given, and I just, you know, COVID and just life in general, it just really shows you that life is super short. You only get one, but if you do it right, one is totally enough. I love the freedom to do what I want. Like, I'm a Leo, I'm super stubborn, and I don't like rules. I don't like to be put into a box. So right now I'm literally just taking advantage of the fact that I'm under 30, living my dream, creating something for my future kids. I'm trying to be a millionaire before I meet my millionaire husband one day.
Wait a minute. Now, you know, I know Ramon is one of your mentors. He doesn't allow the word try or trying. Right. So
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I am completely running by faith right now and just making it happen. But I feel like when you put out the good energy and you literally just do the work, God and the universe will literally meet you halfway and give you the rest. And that has been proven time and time again. So I'm just doing it.
Great stuff. Again, I can't applaud you enough. You know, when I reached out to you, you know, have this conversation, it's like, you know, wait a minute, she's got a lot of stuff that she's working on, and people need to know about these things, you know, to know that it's not just, you know, the 20 plus year veterans that are actually making things happen. It's, you know, folks like yourself who've just been in it for just a short amount of time, but you're actually making real strides and and doing what you're doing. So definitely, salute to you and hats off to you for doing that.
Thank you.
For making it happen the way you are. Because I imagine in what you're doing, you're providing opportunity for other folks.
Definitely.
So great stuff. I mean, if you're hiring, you need somebody to, sweep the floor, I'll take a job. I might quit after 30 minutes, but at least I'll take a job.
I'll need that.
I'm not mentally prepared to work a job, but to get to hang out with you and get some of your wisdom, it'll be worth it. I'll stay for an hour.
Deal.
All right. So let's go back to you're doing a cul-de-sac. So what's happening? What are you doing are you building these houses? Are you selling them? What's happening?
So 4 of them are renovations. So these houses were all built in 1950. They've all been abandoned for probably 10 years or more. They all started between like 700 and 800 square foot. And we are completely gutting them, keeping just like the front foundation, and then doing additions to all of them. Thank you. We're doing additions to all of them and then turning them into about 1,800 square foot, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, still creating affordable luxury. And I like to do my houses really nice. So I'm giving you luxury kitchens, fireplaces, fire pits, nice yards, still in an affordable price point. And then we have one that got burned down. So that'll be new construction. We bought a lot over there that's new construction. So it's mostly additions, but everything's getting gutted. So it's essentially all pretty new construction over there.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were all bought. We bought them all we actually bought the very first one on MLS for $75,000, but it had a kind of janky homeowner edition on it. And then the inside had like drywall, so it wasn't terrible versus the other one. So that was probably the most we paid for one. Everything else we bought for like $50,000. Put like a good 120 or so into it. And then the first one we sold for $316,000, which is pretty high for Dixie Hills. We have since raised the comps. I just listed the second for $350,000. I am currently under contract for $375,000, and just continually, like, everyone over there is trying to list theirs based on what mine are. But as far as luxury is concerned, like, I'm putting electric, beautiful fireplaces custom built in the living room. I'm custom building laundry rooms. Your master bedrooms are going to have vaulted ceilings, walk-in custom closets, fireplaces in there. The yards are insane. They're usually on like half acre with a fire pit. It's well groomed. If you guys have not seen my YouTube videos, you'll see what I mean on there or on Instagram. But I'm custom building everything. So, most people, they have a certain kind of template. Like, these might be the 3 ways we flip houses. Pick A, B, or C. And me, I want every house to be different, which of course is a little bit more stress on me, but it really does show come selling time. That's why they always go over asking price. So I like to really pay attention to the details, even though it's in a more affordable price point. So these are not like $500,000 houses, but you definitely get like a $500,000 feel, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And Michael, don't get ahead of me in my interview questions, man. That's my interview question. No, but listen, anybody watching, please feel free to chime in and ask any questions that you may have. I want to make sure, not only are we, providing the answers to the questions that I asked, but we're also providing value that you are looking for. So, but my question was going to be, what is affordable luxury? And you pretty much, explained to us exactly what that is. So what's the one question I would ask, and I think you mentioned this as well, is the price point of affordable luxury. What would be a price point of that?
Well, it's absolutely changing now, but I feel like kind of a median price point in the Atlanta market now is between like $295 and probably like $375-ish. I feel like that's where the majority of buyers are right now, especially for the type of home that most people want. So again, the elements that you get in $500,000 to $1 million houses, like fully fenced yards, fire pits, huge, nicely landscaped. The grass is green. Everything's brand new. You're getting full appliance packages. Like, these are things we put in all of our houses. We sell it with the security system in it. I literally go out and I custom draw each like laundry room to fit the house. So you're getting extra shelving, you're getting like racks to hang your clothes, you're getting built-in iron boards, you're getting custom closets with built-in mirrors in the barn doors. Like, I just like to do the most, but I want you to feel like you're not just getting a house that's hand selected from Home Depot, like it's thought into it, like fully tiling out the bathrooms and like just the little custom features that make it feel like we paid attention to the details and that we're proud of the work that we're selling.
Absolutely. And do you have like a standard? I mean, I know you said that most of them are different, but do you create like a standard spec sheet for each property that you work on? Okay.
No. And some people are like, well, that's so hard. And I do so many projects, and I'm sure that adds tons of stress to my plate, but it's just the way I like it. Like, I don't like things to be the same. I want everyone to feel like their house is unique and different. I get super excited just like when new tiles come out, and I'm just like dying to use them. And I get so many cool ideas, and I might build one house and then I'm like, dang, I can't wait to do this in the next house. So it's really for my own gain a lot of times. Like, I am very proud of the work that I put out, and I want people to feel that when they show the house. And I get that feedback, and that definitely is a little bit of an ego boost in a good way. It just makes me want to kind of think outside the box and think a little more creatively. Like, the neighborhood that I'm in, a lot of people, like I said, based on my last comp, are selling their houses or trying to list their houses a lot higher. Thanks, Daddy. They're trying to list their houses a lot higher than what they're worth, and the craftsmanship is not meeting it. So when I go down MLS to pull comps, there's like 10 houses in a row with, that red arrow that they're dropping the price. Meanwhile, I'm under contract for $20,000 over with multiple offers because my work speaks for itself. Like, I don't like to have to sell myself. I let it speak for itself. So I don't ever market for more work. I'm never trying to like sell you on my product. Like, here it is. Most people are going to like it, and it's well done. You're going to pass the inspections every time. The craftsmanship as well. It's, built to withstand the test of time. So it really does the selling for me.
Great stuff. We have someone that asked, do you have lower priced homes in the 100s? Many people in those areas are lower income.
I don't. Like, it's really hard to find anything in $100,000 price point right now in Atlanta. And it's not even me not wanting to sell it. It's literally the market doesn't call for it. So again, even if I had a $100,000 price home, people are going to overbid to the point that it's far over 100,000. And right now, really all you can, even these houses that we're buying for 50,000, they need $100,000 in work itself. So there's no way I could sell for that. The only thing you're really finding in that is you're going to be way on the outskirts, probably like low south side to be in high 100s. And a lot of that has like new construction, but those are going to be townhouses, or you're going to be in some sort of condo or something smaller. Usually an attached property. It's going to come with an HOA, so you're still going to have to pay extra fees. But right now it's almost impossible to find anything in Atlanta under like 180 might be the lowest. And that's for like a condo or even new construction on the south side, like Fairburn and lower. South Fulton, those are like 190 to probably 200 plus now.
And speaking, I'll have a condo for sale for $120,000.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. So you got to go out further. So like, you got to definitely be outside the perimeter for sure. The area we are now is obviously still up and coming, but it's so close to everything that it's just creating the value itself. So it's close to the city, close to highways, it's fairly close to like the belt line and just where everybody wants to be right now. That's why it continues to raise itself.
And just to your point, I mean, and to the person that mentioned something about in the lower
Thank
100s,
you.
understanding the market and what's happening, like you mentioned, anything near the city, it's the prices are definitely going through the roof. And what we're as investors putting in to get these properties in the condition that they should be in, I guess. It's costing that much. It's costing, like you mentioned, $100,000 or better to get
Mm-hmm.
the condition to be able to fit what the city is calling for. And that is for them to be fancy.
And even the people that so even sellers now, they're getting a lot smarter too. Thank you. They're getting a lot smarter also, because they see, oh, you might have bought this house for 75, but you just sold it for 300. I'm not selling you my property that low. So now I'm trying to list you an abandoned property that needs everything gutted and redone, but I want to put it on the market for 150.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why it's sitting, like nobody's buying that. And they get a little greedy also, but they're not realizing like all that comes with it for us. So like us, we have obviously construction costs, we have holding costs, we have taxes, we have to pay permitting, we have to, pay contractors, etc. Like it's not just as simple as most people think.
Absolutely. And again, to your point again, like somebody mentioned, 300 in Atlanta is the new norm.
Definitely.
And that's and I would say 300 in Atlanta, depending on the area, depending on where it is the lower end.
Definitely.
I mean, I'll have a property coming to market in Atlanta probably the next week at about 230. But it's in an up and coming, it's still upping. About the coming part yet, but it's upping.
Right.
But it's about 230. But it's in a transitional area, that's going through some transition. And where they're doing a lot of renovations in the neighborhood, but you still have certain elements, we'll call it, in the neighborhood that will soon not long be there, but it's still going to be some time before that happens. But for areas that you're talking about, a lot of those elements have been moved out.
Well, for the most part, we still have some people over there. So one of the neighbors right in the center of the cul-de-sac.
We'll call them elements.
So one of our elements is he was raised in the house since, I guess, 1950 or whatever. He makes sure to remind us every day that his parents built that house. He'll never sell it. So we have like him right in the center of all this new construction we're doing, but there's only so much you can do about it. We still get people who literally steal our freshly rolled out grass and, like random things like that, just strictly being haters. Like I told you, we sell security systems with our houses. We keep them during construction so we can obviously see what's happening. And there was somebody literally caught on camera trying to light my house on fire that was just finished, like literally pouring gas and lighting it, about to blow himself up, just being a hater. Like, luckily he didn't do much damage. It was just like to the grass. We were able to switch it out really easily. But you always have things and people and elements that are going to, be a factor. But again, like if the product speaks for itself, the house that I have under contract, the neighbor is to the right, and then it's literally like a vacant lot on the left. Like that's not developed just yet, but they know it's coming. So you're getting a lot of buyers who are okay with getting the price that they want because they're okay with watching kind of the market change and things grow. So you got to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and I'll say you have a lot of these elements who are afraid of change. Like change is not, although change is inevitable. Most people aren't accustomed to that type of change because they fear it because it doesn't feel inclusive. Right? They don't feel like they're included in the change that's happening. But it's just a matter of changing your mindset.
Definitely.
And I know there was someone that mentioned, affordability, talking about $100,000 being affordable for lower income. And in these days and times, in my opinion, what is really lower income?
Right.
Is the question. And if it's still lower income, is it a matter of the income not being there, or is it a matter of not taking advantage of the possibilities of making more income?
That
You know,
part.
now not everybody's going to agree with that. You know, there'll be some pushback, and people don't feel, you know, that that's real. But it's about mindset. You know,
Definitely. I totally agree. There are a lot of people who say that, but again, I think that like is a comfortable lifestyle for some people. Either they don't think they can or deserve to get a certain lifestyle or afford certain things, or they're just not willing to put in the work, but you really can't be mad at the people that put in the work for what they want. I think right now, everything is so accessible to you.
Absolutely.
Whether you were one of the people that were laid off and taking advantage of unemployment, but still could have had a side hustle in a pandemic and like leveraged both of those checks versus like quitting everything and living off of unemployment, or you're like a teenager who got $1 million off of TikTok. Like TikTok is a free app. So it takes like 30 minutes to learn it. But if you are willing to put in the work, it can be done. Like there are people who make millions off of YouTube. Again, a free app. It just takes work. Instagram, a free app. It just takes work. There are people, elements, who get mad and want to destroy your property. And there are some that are like, hey, I see what you're doing. Can I come pick up trash for you? Can you teach me? Can I come work? Make a little bit of money, make a little difference in my community, but they're taking advantage of the situation. And really, that's what life is about. Either you're going to stay where you are and be mad that people are running their race and leaving you behind, or you're going to catch up and figure out where you fit in.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Listen, and you know, not to belittle your age, but I gotta point out to the people that she's 29, y'all. Y'all know what I was doing when I was 29? I don't even want to talk about it. But you know,
it's changing. We gotta just change with it.
Yes. I mean, it's amazing, you know, and I always applaud young folks who have their minds made up about doing the things that they want to do to make a better future for themselves. And you know, it's unfortunate that as many of the opportunities that are available to everyone today, despite your political affiliation or who you voted for and all that, opportunity is still available to many of us. You know, and as you pointed out, you know, there are people that see what you're doing, and they want to be a part of that change, you know, and it's for the way that things happen. Unfortunately, people get locked into it's always been this way and it should always be this way, right? But they are doing, you know, they've not always had an iPhone.
Right.
An iPhone today, so and they keep up with the latest with it. You didn't always have an iPhone, so why you want all these other things to stay the same?
Exactly.
So
that's a perfect example though, because you upgrade from iPhone 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but you don't want to upgrade nothing else in your lifestyle. Like what you got the nicest phone for, and you sitting on the couch trying to figure out how you paying rent next month. Like it doesn't add up. Like keep the same energy and evolve in other aspects too. Like life is not meant for you to live it in the same place.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking, like, if you're paying, you know, $1,000 for an iPhone, at least earn that much with that iPhone.
Okay.
You know, absolutely amazing. Actually, you're gonna give me some whole other stuff. We're gonna get in trouble on this show in a minute. So with doing the things that you're doing, I have to ask you, what keeps you inspired? I mean, I know you're going, you know, you're going to be, you know, growing and going to the next level. But as you mentioned earlier, this is hard. This is hard. I mean, I know you get your encouragement sometimes from friends, but in that time where you're faced with, like, you know, one of the biggest challenges that you've had, and you know, if you don't mind sharing, you can tell us that as well. What is it that keeps you inspired to continue to go on?
I don't know that I have like one specific challenge. I think every day is literally a challenge for me.
Yes.
Like I'm not a morning person, but like I said, they're calling me for phone sales at 7:30. Like I don't love to talk on the phone all day. Like my parents in here will tell you, like a lot of their text message are like acknowledged but not necessarily responded to. But that's like my life all day. And so I am always just trying to find a balance. And I think there are people who are meant to like do the hard work. There are people who are meant to be the leaders. There are people who are meant to create opportunities for other people, whether they know how to do it or not. There are some people that are just put in life to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are days that I don't feel like doing things, but then I just think about all the people who literally eat off of my hustle. Like
Wow.
my contractors, I have like 3 staff members who work at the fancy firm. Like the people that I employ, my vendors, things like that. Like all of them are somewhat dependent on me keeping my shit together, essentially, for lack of a better word. Like there are rare times where they'll hit me up like, hey, I need some work. Do you have something for me? And that's because they essentially need me. And so just like the same buyers who have been, like somebody literally just called before we started for the listing that I told you I listed last night. Like we've been looking for 2 years and they're dying to see this house. But this is a house that a client I had hired a contractor because I was too busy at the time. They ended up having to fire that contractor. I came and took it over, finished it, staged it, and now listed it. But these buyers need houses. So again, like if it's up to me to do the hard work in order for other people to have what they need, if that makes sense. And again, I just know anyone will tell you, like most people, when they call me, they start the conversation like, are you in town? Like, are you going to be here on this day? Because I like to go. I like a certain freedom. I love to travel. I travel out of the country several times a year, just when I need it. So both having other people that are depending me and just myself depending on my own sort of lifestyle, knowing that I can never go back to a job, knowing that if I am overwhelmed, I can go take a trip and I can afford to do so, and everything back at home is still good. Like those just motivate me to just keep going. Plus I have 2 younger sisters, tons of younger cousins. I have nephews that are super spoiled off of me. So it's just like, I have a lot of factors that keep me going.
Great. She 29, y'all. Absolutely amazing. And again, I want to applaud you once again for the mindset that you have to even be in the space of doing what you're doing, and continuing to move forward, because everything you define is what a lot of people miss, is a reason why, right? That reason.
You guys saw me that when I first started. You're one of the first people I met when I started, and Ramon and Ron and a lot of the other gurus have been in it for 20 years. And I'm like, for one, you only make it to year 20 by starting year 1. Like you have to start somewhere, and you're going to literally, like you guys went through recession and God knows what else. Like it's never going to be easy, because everybody would do it if that was the case. But everyone, when I started, was like, just remember why you're doing it. And like me having a job, like taking care of other people's kids and realizing like that's not what I want for my life was the why, and still is. And so that the mindset definitely is everything. You guys have ingrained that in me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, but I've heard it over and over and over from every type of entrepreneur and every type of business. You literally just have to remind yourself why you're doing it, because you are the only person that's going to motivate you. Like you don't have a boss. You don't have to clock in at a certain time. Like it's literally up to you.
Yeah. True story. And and motivation is like that high that you get for the moment. But the inspiration is what keeps you continuously going. Like when you look at yourself and you realize again that you have people that are counting on you. You don't have children yet. Just imagine what your hustle is going to be like when you have children.
Right.
And that is going to probably, I'm sure it's going to take you to a whole nother level. So again, keep that same grind, keep that same mindset, and I'm sure you're gonna shake the world up if you haven't already. I mean, for me, you have, but I know it's a whole lot more that you have that's going to be coming up. So let's backtrack just a little bit. Right? We know that you are full time in what you're doing. We know that you do interior design. You're a realtor. Like, what's a day look like? You gave us a little bit of an idea. Like, don't like to wake up in the morning. But from that 7 o'clock, what's the day? What time does the day end for you, or does it end? And what's that day like for you?
Never ends. So a lot of times I like to go to the gym in the morning. Not every day I feel like it, so I go some point at the end. But I usually have had like 5 different phone sales, spending thousands of dollars before 10 a.m. I'm just like making my rounds, making sure everyone's where they're supposed to be. Whoever's picking up materials that day has what they need to do so that I can delegate what's not as important for me. Obviously today this was on the schedule. Right before this I was doing some bookkeeping, getting ready to call some draws. I am going to check out a house that needs staging when I leave here. Then I'm going to go to maybe like 3 of the properties and just check on things there, make sure everybody is good. I tend to always find a surprise on site, so that they like to wait until I get there and they need an opinion on something or something doesn't work. I had counters getting installed in Stone Mountain this morning. And for some reason, my counter person only gave me a waterfall on one side of my island versus 2. So I'm having to get him to take the granite back and then recut it. So it's literally a lot of putting out fires, checking on projects, spending thousands of dollars, like managing 50 people. My phone's blowing up from this listing that I have. I have another listing that is under contract. So we're scheduling inspections right now. I have 4 lots we're about to put under contract for new construction. So trying to get the mechanicals and things turned off there so that we could do some demo. So it's just a lot. Every day is different, but it's usually a lot of multitasking, a lot of managing other people and just kind of trying to keep my sanity.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Why in the heck would anybody want to do this?
I'm crazy. I love chaos. Like when I'm just sitting doing nothing, like my brain is like, what could I be doing? Like I'm a workaholic. I always have been. And again, it's just the bigger picture. Like I'm down to put in the hard work now. Like I don't have anybody waiting at home for me. I don't have any kids to worry about. So I'm really able to be selfish and create my own career right now so that when I do have kids and a family and a significant other, then I'm able to balance my time and I'm not having to work a ton then, you know? Plus, like I said, I love to travel. So this affords the travel lifestyle that I love. You know, I like nice things. And so this is, you got to put in the hard work to get what you want.
Absolutely. Ms. Rucker says, how do you find your properties?
So recently a lot of people find me. So like I said, the cul-de-sac, we bought one. It showed that I was the agent. So the second property, they called me like, hey, I saw that you just sold this property. Is your buyer interested? Of course, we took it. They were like, oh, we got a third one. Would you like that? The 4th person was listed, called the agent like, hey, I'm buying the other ones. Can I have this one? And a lot of people just bring deals to me. Again, I don't like, I work hard, but I don't like to be like, you know, driving for properties all day and things like that. Like I like to work intentional and very smart. So I just set myself up in a position that people bring deals to me. And then it's just my network. Like the 4 lots I got from one of my architects' other clients. And he was like, hey, by the way, would you guys be interested? And I said, absolutely. 4 lots for $90,000. Let's do it. You know?
Wow.
And I'm like, listen, the deals are coming because all these houses we bought like 50,000, 55, 75, and we're in like 300,000 price point, like 4 lots for $90,000 that I think are already subbed out for like sewer and stuff too. So
great.
When you put yourself in a certain position, then it'll come. Like I said, I'm just out here setting myself up and trusting God, and the rest is just happening.
Keeping it moving. Great stuff. Great stuff. You said that word again, networking.
Yes.
That's great.
Network is your net worth for sure.
Someone says, you're amazing, of course.
Thank you.
I imagine, I think that's, are you a broker, and where you list on the MLS? I want to one day have my company. How would I be able to list on MLS?
So I am not a broker. A broker comes with a whole lot of other responsibility, especially when you are in charge of other agents who are selling some of the largest purchases, legal purchases of other people's lives. So if you are not ready for that step, you can absolutely get your license. You have to hang it with a broker. So my broker is Palmer House Properties. Love them. Again, if we're talking terms of support, they are amazing for agent support. So I'm able to list that way without being a broker. I am a licensed real estate salesperson under a brokerage, and I am able to sell properties that way. If I one day decide that I am crazy enough to add more to my plate, then a brokerage may be down the line, but it's not on the top of the list for me now. Like I said, I didn't even really want to be an agent. It just kind of fits into the game plan here.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What keeps your, and this is a question I have. Hopefully, if anybody else, we got time for maybe one or two more questions. But what do you read or what do you study that keeps your mindset at the level to help you keep going?
I always feel bad when people ask me what I read, and I'm like, I don't really read. I don't have time, and like I said, my brain's always going. So I'm the type that I'll start reading something and I'll totally zone out. And the people who have to read a page like 4 times before they realize they're reading something. I'm that person. But me, I'm visual. So I love like YouTube. I love Pinterest. I have been spending a lot of time really learning in the last few weeks how to do a lot of the construction. So versus just bossing people around and like sketching it out, I'm like learning how to do it. So that's helping me justify like my cost, learning how much my materials are actually costing, justifying the amount of time it takes to do certain things. So I'm always watching like DIY videos. I get a lot of inspo from things, and then I'm like, okay, how do I make this better? How do I make it fit for me? I'm always learning like new design programs. I follow a lot of design accounts on Instagram. So for me, I'm visual, and I could like see one thing that could spark an entire like crazy start of ideas for me. Excuse me. And so that is like where I get a lot of my inspiration from. And then I don't really do a lot of reading, but if I do, I like to, again, I'm a visionary and I kind of like to think backwards. So I find myself researching like so I had a client, right? We installed some quartz, and it was the first time I had ever had quartz that kept staining. Like every single thing you put on the white quartz would stain, like from a grocery bag to like the randomest little cups. And we couldn't figure out why. So then I started researching sealers, and then I got into like how quartz is made and the material. So I'm like that kind of nerdy researcher. Like I like to learn how things are made, why they are made a certain way. So I'm not really into reading what most people read, but that's kind of how I research and develop my brain, if that makes sense.
I would say, what you pointed out it would be the equivalent of reading, because you're still studying.
Yeah.
You're still studying other elements of, what you're doing, and, it makes what you do even better, so,
I think in any business, you have to really understand, like you want to own a chain of McDonald's, you have to understand what it's like to be a fry cook. You have to understand what it's like to work drive-through. You have to understand what it's like to do the bookkeeping. You have to understand, what it's like to be someone just working the floor. Like, I think it's important for any successful business. If you realize exactly why each part works, not only are you hiring the right people for those things, you're understanding it, you're justifying costs, and you're fully versed in whatever business you're in.
Absolutely. Great stuff. I mean, like I said, in our modern day, I'm old school. I learn from reading. I learn from studying and things like that. I mean, of course, I watch some videos because a lot of good information is there as well. But in the modern day of doing things, Pinterest, I look at Pinterest every now and then. I refuse to before because they make you sign up for an account before you look at the pictures. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But I get some ideas from Pinterest. Like I was trying to figure out a color of a door that we're painting on a house that we're finishing. So I used, I looked on Pinterest to find the color of a door. So I'm the same way. Like I study different things, and anybody that understands anything, like you mentioned about business, you have to constantly be a student. You have to constantly study, continue to sharpen your tools and of the trade that you're doing, so that you can be the expert, I guess, if you will, in that area. So again, hats off to you. Birmingham Rick, I think that's somebody Ron tagged earlier. I don't know why. I think that's what Ron was. We'll call it sharing you with the world.
That he was. He left when my daddy got here, though.
Right. Look, where you go, Ron? Why you leave when Dad came on? Great stuff. Listen, you gave us some great information today. I definitely, again, salute you and applaud you for what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep moving forward. I'm inspired, and I'm sure that you're continuing to inspire many more people. How do folks get in contact with you? Those that want to get in contact with you for business, not with what Ryan was talking about. How do they reach out to you?
Email is the best form of contact. I am on Instagram, instagram.com/thefancyfirm. All of my contact information is in the bio. I do a lot on YouTube. Those links are also in my Instagram bio, where I document start to finish all of my flips. My poor Facebook got hacked and I have yet to get it back, so I'm not there anymore. But yeah, those are the main ways to contact me.
Very good. Very good. Is there any type of training that you offer or any classes that you offer?
Not yet. I'm working on it. Probably the first of the year. I've been getting a lot of inquiries for coaching or training, but I also realize that requires a lot from me, and I want to make sure that I can do it right and give the right attention. So I don't want to rush it, but probably the start of 2022, I will offer that.
Okay. Great stuff. Someone says, are you looking for contractors locally?
I'm always looking for contractors.
You're always looking for
good
ones,
right? Licensed ones. Send me a DM on Instagram. I check them fairly often. Or tag me in some of your work or something, and we can talk about it.
Okay, great stuff. Listen, again, thank you so much for taking this time. I know you probably missed about $15,000 or $20,000 in this hour that you were on with me.
That's okay.
Keep any longer. Again, keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring. Nick says he will reach out to you.
Okay.
And listen, I'm a fan of your work. And once I get to the point of being able to afford you, I will give you a call.
So you got all the money, I heard.
Don't listen to what people tell you.
They say you do this in real life.
It's real life real estate investing. But thank you. I'd like to come and check out the cul-de-sac though, so I'll be reaching out to you to get some information about that. I want to definitely come and check out some of your work and see what you got.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in. And this has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, where we bring you real life real estate solutions. Thank you all for watching. Look forward to seeing you soon.